It does not. Oh, you know
We
what?
are live, Rhea.
Hello.
So how are you?
Happy Tuesday. I
Yay.
had a nice Labor Day weekend.
Mm,
Even with the rain yesterday, we had a really great
hmm
time yesterday. So it was a great weekend. You know, those weekends are always too short, too short. So
Yeah,
so yeah. So I had a great time. How about
good.
you?
It was awesome. The Labor Day
Good.
weekend was the weather, I mean, except for yesterday, the weather was just glorious.
It sure was. And
Oh,
today was wonderful.
oh, well, yeah. And so I went paddleboarding this weekend. I went
Mm-hmm.
paddleboarding today.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to like soak up, the last bits of summer.
Yes, we are down to those final strains. You can
Yeah.
tell. I mean, you can tell that every morning when you get up, you're like, oh, it's cooler and cooler and cooler. Which this for me is the perfect weather. This is perfect. I like it cooler in the mornings and the evenings, and then warm during the day. It's perfect.
Yeah.
So
It's like San
certainly.
Diego weather, right?
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And so certainly, our hearts and minds are with the people in the Caribbean, specifically the Bahamas,
Yeah.
and then anyone else who's in the path of this incredible storm. So
Yeah. This
yeah,
very slow moving storm.
yeah.
Yeah, very slow moving. And, my daughter's in Charleston.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I know they're bracing. I don't think anybody really knows what's going to happen, but
No, they don't. They
and
don't.
Freeport and Grand Bahama and all the
Hmm.
people there.
Hmm.
Yes, so keep them all in our prayers for sure.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
right, so we've got Safa saying hi and Jenna. Jenna's here.
Hello, Safa. Hello, Jenna. Hello, ladies. Oh yes, Safa sent a sweet note letting us know that she missed us and she'd see us some other Tuesday. Like, no, 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 don't give up, Safa. We're on the way. We are on the way.
I know
So
it's been I was on the phone with another JMT person, and so yeah, it was
it's
busy. But
yeah.
so Rhea, what's our topic tonight? What are we going to talk about?
I thought it is always a good time to talk about intentionality. It is always a good time.
Hmm.
We could always use a reminder or even a little poke, and just to get ourselves. Because sometimes it's so easy. It's so easy to be distracted. It's so easy to get. Even if you're not a person who's easily distracted, there are just things that happen
Yeah.
during the course of the day, the course of the evening. I mean, I can tell you, I mean, I worked, I was working on my to-do list for the week this morning, and I'm looking at my to-do list at the end of the day. I'm like, well, okay. And, and that's even with me pushing all day, saying, be intentional, push, lean in, get it done.
Mm.
Let's focus on this. So it does. It takes a lot, and there's some things that I am committed to completing, or no, to working on this week. Working towards completion. So I said, yeah, this would be a good time to talk about intentionality.
Yeah.
Now I'll share too that this past Sunday at our church, I had the opportunity to talk for a little bit more than I usually do, because I usually do a children's sermon, and this past week I did the adult sermon. But I talked about, among other things, we talked about intentionality.
Hmm.
I mean, that was a topic that came up. As I was pulling it together, I just happened to notice. I'm like, oh, I'm revisiting this quite often, and revisiting this, and it is because it's what we need to do, and that quote, I just can't shake it. That the highest form of self love and self discipline and self care is discipline.
Mm.
You know, what, all of the things that we're able to do, come through discipline. And there are interruptions, there are distractors, there are emergencies, there are priorities. But
Mm-hmm.
for me, I have to return to my list of things that I intend to do as I set my intention every day, every
Yeah.
day. Mm-hmm.
And so when you set your intention every day, is it working toward a goal? Is it different every day? Is it working
I
towards something?
quite it depends. If I'm working on a project,
Hmm.
in something that requires work over a certain number of days, I will have I always have a to-do list, but there are specific things that are on the to-do list that are part of my intentionality. And sometimes my intentionality is not related to a specific task. It
Hmm.
is, then who am I going to be today? Is the intention. Maybe in the midst of everything that's going on, I'm going to be patient. I intend to be patient on this day. Or with everything that's going on, I intend to listen.
Mm.
I'm going to listen today. I'm not going to
Rhea.
interrupt. Yes,
Okay. I don't know where Rhea went, but I'm sure she'll be
I'm
back.
still here.
And in the meantime, we have Amy. Safa's laughing. Dawn is here. Um, Amy's saying hi to everybody. It's just like a love fest with the John Maxwell team. Thank you, Amy. Tune in Tuesday rocks. So you rock. And I was down in Tampa, and Amy's in Tampa, and we didn't even get to connect with each other. But we will. So that's just what the John Maxwell team is. It's people that really care about each other. So it's always great when we have their support. But so Rhea's talking about intentionality, and Dawn Dawn is saying I was intentional about tuning in, and I'm sure you were, because if we're not intentional about it, something else happens and we don't do it, right?
Mm-hmm,
And it's
mm-hmm.
so interesting. Today, I went paddle boarding quite a bit over the weekend, and today I wondered, why am I not doing it more during the week when I could? But I'm doing other things and I don't do it. And summer's slipping away. Amy lives in Florida, but I don't. So my summer's slipping away. And I was really intentional today about making sure that I did it. Oh, Dawn is saying you hear Rhea? Do you?
Yeah,
Does anybody else hear Rhea?
I see and hear everything that's going on.
Um, because I don't. Um, yes,
Yes,
Amy drove. Amy drove right by my hotel. I know, but that's okay. We won't let that happen again. So yeah, lots of love going on here. Um, does everybody hear Rhea except me?
maybe so.
Oh, now don't you tempt me there, Amy, because I love summer. Um, help me out though. Does everybody hear Rhea? Am I the only one that doesn't hear Rhea?
Hello, can everyone else hear me? Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, because I can
I'm
see
gonna go.
I can see everything that's
I don't know
popping
why
up,
that is.
and I can see everyone's comments, and I can hear Laura.
Okay, Rhea, you take it away then. I'm gonna go out and come back in because I
Oh,
don't see you.
oh no. Okay, all right.
Oh, gee.
We've never had that happen before. talking about, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can, but I could not hear you before.
Yeah, I could hear you. I could see you. I could see all of the comments. I
And here I am thinking, I'm thinking you left. So meanwhile, I was the only one that didn't see you.
yeah.
I'm sorry. All right. So thank you, Dawn, and everybody for helping me out. So what were you saying, Rhea, that I missed?
Oh, well, I was just talking about intentionality
Okay.
and the fact that sometimes it's not related to a specific task, you know, a an action. It is an action item, but it's not related to a specific to item. But it will be. If there are times where I know that I need to have a specific attitude that day, and that whoa, okay, that was my light went out. I we'll work on these things. Technical difficulties here, but
Um, so
there are
you're
times that
saying
I need
that
to have,
you're intentional about your attitude.
yes, have to be intentional about my
Right.
attitude.
Right.
Have to be intentional about, and and it just varies. It varies. So it's not always the same every single day, but there are times when I might be working on a project. Okay, the light's about to come on really bright. There are times when might be working on a project, and and
Hmm.
then in that case, you know, I want to make certain that I'm being consistent,
Hmm.
and consistency might be the intention, but
Mm.
it is just, no matter what it is, even if it's just to make sure you wear socks every day. I mean, it is just set an intention, getting into the habit of setting that intention, starting out your day uh,
Right.
with purpose.
And
And
consciously, right? Because if we're not
yes,
setting out our day consciously, we're setting out our day unconsciously, and then we're on autopilot, and then
yeah,
we don't accomplish what we want to accomplish, or we don't become the person we're trying to become,
yeah,
or our attitude is just whatever it is because we're not
yes.
intentional
And because
about it.
growth is intentional. And
Right.
we've said that before, and I know many of the people who are here have read that before. So Amy's saying everything worthwhile is uphill.
Right.
That's it's interesting how everything worthwhile is sitting on top of that hill,
Yeah.
and you've got
Yeah.
to
And if
go
we're
get
not
up.
intentional about it, we don't get up the hill.
That's right.
Right. So it it's really intentionality is about everything we do. And I don't know, did you hear what I said before? Was I
Yes.
so you heard that where I went paddleboarding a lot this weekend?
Yep. I
And
sure did.
and so I said to my husband, like, oh my gosh, this was just amazing. It was just amazing. And he said, so why don't you do it more?
Mm-hmm.
Blah, 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 blah. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know what to say because I'm not doing it more because I'm not intentional about doing it. But guess what?
And
I'm in my bathing suit right now because
yeah.
I was going to make sure I did it today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I will now start to be much more intentional about that because I wasn't. And that's why it wasn't happening.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's also something that, you know, that's like a connection to the universe for me, like being around the water and just being one with like watching the ducks and the birds and all of that stuff. And so I tend to sometimes when things get busy, push it to the side.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been intentional about it, but I am going to be now.
Yes, I think that's very important. It looks like there's a comment from Jenna.
Yeah, it's can you see it? It's
I can't see it. I
she
can't see
says
her comment.
I find that I can be much more intentional related to long-term focus versus day to day
Mm-hmm.
up until now, working on
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So more intentional about the long-term focus. So like making the plan, intentional about making the plan, Jenna, is that what you mean? And so Amy says, I'm intentional about wearing flip-flops every day, unless I have to go see a client and I have to wear the big girl shoes.
Yeah. Hey, there are there are
That's
many
great.
different things that you can be intentional about, and it just and wearing flip flops, if that adds spice to your life, then do it. Then be intentional about it. Then because there are people who won't put on flip flops because they feel that they're too frivolous, or they may have whatever reasons, or they don't like the way someone told them once upon a time that their feet were ugly, so they're not going to put on flip flops.
Yeah.
Put on the flip flops, and you have that, set that as your intention, because that brings you joy and adds something to your life.
Right.
That's what we're talking about.
Right. Right. And I feel like we're intentional about going to work every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're intentional about brushing our teeth. Like, we're intentional about certain things, but when it comes to what brings us joy, we're not always intentional about that, because some people look at it as, you know, is there enough time? How much joy should I be experiencing? You know, I say endless amounts of joy.
Well, or some people even wonder if it's selfish. If it's
Mm,
selfish to focus on their own joy, they need to focus on, this time of year. I don't have time to think. It's, getting the kids back to school, getting,
yeah.
you've got this to do. Focus on my joy. I'll focus on that later. And
Yes.
perhaps that's not what you want to focus on right now, but you've got to be intentional in order to experience these things. They're not always just going to happen.
Yeah.
There's a lot of our lives we make happen.
Oh,
and
yeah.
and and
Hmm.
your life will be so much richer if you focus on making your life happen, not
Right.
just letting it happen.
In the moment, right? Because tomorrow really happens by what we do today.
Mm-hmm.
So, intentionality is a piece of everything, everything. And so our girl Crystal, she says, be intentional on making yourself happy.
That's right, Crystal. Yes.
And we're not always intentional. Like, who
Mm-mm.
on here is intentional about making yourself happy often, right?
Mm-hmm.
That joy that you talked about before.
Mm-hmm.
So Amy's loving everybody. Mariana, oh, is Mariana on?
Hey, Mariana.
Oh, oh, I love her too. I love everybody on here. Safa says, I'm intentional through taking a time every day to appreciate everything that is given to us.
Mm-hmm.
Health, blue skies, beautiful trees, being
Mm-hmm.
kind to others no matter what. Value everyone as they are. Attitude matters.
Yes, and an attitude of gratitude, it matters especially.
A
So
hundred
that's
percent.
so that's another thing to be intentional
Ah,
about. Just,
yes.
you're determining, today I am going to make certain that I am grateful and I express it. And and it can even go beyond, because a lot of us, I know, journal, and of course, here's my journal commercial. But a lot of us journal, but even beyond that, expressing gratitude to others, letting others know that you appreciate them. There,
Yeah.
and it works whether it's at home or in the workplace. Just, having a team know how much you appreciate their input or what they've been able to do. It sets them up to even become more appreciated, because there's more that they'll want to do.
Yeah.
So oh yeah, I mean, you all are coming up with so
Yeah.
many
And
wonderful
and
things.
how about just giving thanks for what Sappho was talking about? That's what I did today. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if anybody was around where I was paddleboarding today and they heard me, I don't know what they would have thought, because I was out loud saying, I give such thanks for these ducks. Look at how they're flying. I give thanks for the sun. It's shining on me. I'm so warm. I give thanks for this body of water. Like, out loud. This was what I did today.
Oh, they just thought you were talking on your phone.
Nobody
See,
was there. Nobody was there.
it's
But you know what? Whether they are or not, those are things we don't always give thanks for. That we
Mhm.
don't always take them in for what they are. But looking at like what was going on today, water was filtering in from the harbor into where I was paddleboarding. and and the ducks, and they were digging down to get a fish. And it just reminds you that everything is so in tune.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has such a purpose that of course we do too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely, we do. And it's good to have those moments where that really soaks in. That's why
Yeah.
sometimes it's just good to be still.
Yes,
It's
and that's
just good to be still and experience that peace
yes.
that comes.
Ah,
So,
it's beautiful. It's
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah,
So
be,
Jenna's saying,
mm-hmm,
just
just,
realize that if my day-to-day focus is off, it means that I'm focusing on things that are not in my alignment with my purpose, and it's time to realign.
mm-hmm,
Mm. That's
yeah,
See, now when you know that about yourself, it's really great because you can feel when your alignment's off. You can so feel it if you are aware enough to feel it.
well, and tuning into yourself is an intentional act. So
Yes,
when you take the opportunity to consciously tune in and ask yourself, where you aligned? Are you doing what
right.
you're supposed to do? It
And
makes a
know,
difference. It makes a
and know,
difference.
right? Know, like Jenna knows what she feels when she's not in alignment. That's
Oh,
great awareness. So Lisa
mm-hmm.
says,
Lisa Steyer
yeah,
and I have known each other since we were about, I don't know, 6 years old. So we grew up together, went to elementary school, went to high school together. So we've known each other for a very, very long time. So hello, Lisa. It's
well,
so
I love
exciting to
her.
see
I
you.
mean, look at what she's adding here, right?
Yes,
Exactly what we were
yes.
taught, what I was mentioning before. Be
Mm-hmm.
glad and rejoice in what? Just that we're here.
It,
Just that
it,
today is a day that we
that's
are
right.
breathing and we're good and the sun is shining. Like, yeah, Lisa, that's enough to celebrate right there.
Yes,
Awesome.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So Dawn says, I have to do the opposite because Oreos make me happy, but I'm trying to be healthier, which in the end will make me happy. Oh, Dawn, that's pretty good.
Oh, John.
Well,
But
but you know what she's saying though is she knows what she wants in the end. She wants to be healthier. So
yes.
sometimes the short-term happiness stuff has to be put to the side for the long haul. What we really want in the end, right?
Well, and in life, in life you have to treat yourself sometimes. So when you
Mm-hmm.
know those things that you love and recognize that you can have those things in moderation, it's a wonderful treat to be able
Yeah,
to have those Oreos with that big glass of milk. So,
yeah. Yeah, and also that self-discipline, what you talked about before, Rhea, that quote about self-love
mhm,
being self-discipline,
mhm, mhm,
right?
yeah, yeah,
So that
that
you end up getting what it is you want in the end,
that's
being
right.
intentional about it. So Safa says we run and run, and the truth for me is nothing is for granted. We are given so much.
Oh yes, we have been given so
Mm.
much.
And so
And
Mariana is on. Just for a minute. Love you too, Mariana. Um, okay, so what else on intentionality?
oh, just do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, just do it. It's just just be awake, set an intention, and move forward with it. And guess what? If you get off track, get back on. If things didn't work out today, if things didn't work out the other 18 hours of today, start now. You
right,
set your intentionality for this evening. And someone said, they said that their intention was to watch this program. I don't know if we're calling it the program, but just watch the two of us talk. Set your intention. It doesn't have to be an intention that's only set in the morning.
right.
You can change it. You can. It's your life. It's your time. But we're letting you know that there are tools available to you and encouraging you to use them. because we know from experience that that is just, these are the tools to leading a ridiculously amazing life.
Yeah, and guess what? You will go off course
Yes.
because we do, right? Because
Yes.
we tend, when we're not paying attention consciously, our subconscious is always waiting for that to slip up so it can get right in there, right?
Hmm.
So it's
Hmm.
okay to go off.
Yeah.
Just get yourself back,
And
and
just get back
grab
on.
hold of the reins. Like you're the one, you're the one driving, right?
So
When you live consciously.
absolutely. So I can tell you, Don. Well, you know what? I can tell you, Don. When I finally make my trip up to see you, I'm bringing you some chocolate cake. So
Oh, oh, if Rhea's making you chocolate cake, Dawn, forget it.
we're going to have a good time.
But it's true, right? Like it's not if you slip up or if you get off track. You more than likely
You will.
you're gonna get off track.
You will.
But
That's
it's
life.
okay because you know what? It's better to go off track a little bit than to be
Hmm.
off track all day.
Hmm.
So
Well, and it's
start
good to
being intentional.
recognize it. I agree with you. I agree with you. And
Right,
it's good when you can recognize. When you
right.
recognize,
And
oh,
you
okay, I
yeah.
am off track.
And you'll only know you're off track if you know what it's like to be on track.
Mm,
Right?
mm,
So you have to know the other end of something to know the other end of something. So
mm,
you won't know you're off track unless you know what it feels like to be off track. And therefore, you have to be on track as well.
mm, mm. So yes, so that's what we're saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is just this nothing deep that you've got to dig through and with codes and figuring out. We're not speaking to you in some coded poetic language. No, it's be intentional. Do
Right.
it.
Right. Right.
Yes.
And write it down
Yeah.
and believe in it and think about it and put your thoughts as
Mm-hmm.
if it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And give thanks for it as if it's there.
Always give thanks.
Always, always.
Yes.
Even if it's not there yet, knowing that it's coming,
Coming.
right?
Yes. Amen. I agree with that.
Right? For sure. Because, yes, I mean, we talk about living this ridiculously amazing life. That cannot happen without intention.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's
That's absolutely right.
right.
And this is something that we've talked about before, and guess what? We will talk about it again
Yeah.
because we need to be reminded, and we and Laura and I speak from we speak from topics that are in parts of our lives. Okay, so I can tell you, I need the reminder. I know Laura needs the reminder. It's easy to get off track or to get
Yeah.
distracted. It's and then it's wonderful when you realize that you've gotten back on track. It's like, oh
Yes.
yeah, okay, here we are.
You can feel it. So Dawn is saying, I'm horrible at journaling. I have dozens blank. Rhea, go to town, baby. Go ahead. You're talking to the journaling queen, Dawn.
I love my journal. I love journaling, uh, and different people. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. I understand that, but I encourage people to try.
Yeah,
Just try, and it's one of those things where someone will say, "Well, Rhea, I don't know exactly what to write." Just start writing.
right.
Just write the ABCs if you need to, just to start.
Yeah.
You write the words to a song that you love, just to start.
Or
But
start with a quote. Like the way I started, I
mm-hmm,
had a journal that had quotes in it
mm-hmm,
because I was like that, Ray. I didn't know what to journal. I never
mm-hmm,
journaled. And I would start with the quote that was on the page.
mm-hmm.
And that's how I started. And so now of course, I mean, I love to journal. I miss it when I don't journal. And so Crystal's saying, yes, she knew she was off track and jumped back in. And
Mm-hmm,
so
mm-hmm.
you know that you've worked on your awareness if you know that you're off track,
Mm-hmm.
because now you know what it feels like. So, so Jerry, you've got someone on from your high school. So Jerry, I went to school with Jerry. And she's asking if I'm coming to the reunion.
Are you coming to the reunion?
So I was coming to the reunion, and now my son is coming home that weekend, and I have to work all day Saturday and Sunday, and my reunion is that Saturday night. So now, now I'm not sure, but somebody else, Mary, was asking me if I got an email, Jerry, which I didn't get. So I will figure that out, but I would miss it if I'm not there. I had the greatest group of high school people. I mean, and they're the greatest group of people now too.
Wonderful.
That's like when you can say that, when you can say all these years later that, you care about them even more, that's pretty darn good. So here's
Great.
your girl, Lisa.
Aha. Sometimes life gets in the way. It will happen. That's right. We need to be intentional with ourselves to get back on, and and it cuts off there. So what is the rest of
Oh,
us?
she says, and that will help us with
Yes.
whatever was thrown at us. Personal experience speaking here, she says.
That's right. That's right. That's why it's a great tool,
Yeah.
and we value it.
Yes.
And so we're not just here preaching you about things that we haven't tried. These are things that we do.
Every
That's
day
right.
we are working on intentionality every
That's
day,
right.
because the world does nothing but want to pull us away, to different things. And it's funny, like, I didn't even realize I love paddleboarding so much, and I wasn't being intentional about doing it. And guess what? It wasn't getting done. And I kept pushing it to the side. Why? Why was I doing that? What would I be doing? I'd be sitting home going through like emails, and I can always go through emails.
Oh yeah.
Why am I doing that when the sun is shining and summer is ending? Like, really, Laura? What?
Oh, you've got to make that choice.
Right.
You've got
And
to make that choice.
so my point is that we're still working on being intentional.
Yes.
Every day.
We will continue to be.
Every
And
day.
we will continue to be. But we want everyone else to benefit from what is serving us well. And we're not perfect. And we have not reached the we have I have not been able to grab that golden ring just yet, but I know it's out there. But still we know that we are leading wonderful lives and on the road to living ridiculously amazing lives, and we're looking forward to have everyone join us.
Wow. And if you need help, because sometimes we do, grab onto an accountability partner or somebody that will help you with keeping your attentions.
Or drop us a line.
Yeah, we'd be happy to help. So Safa says it's an everyday process, and
yes,
it is. Yes, and Crystal agrees. Yes, it's an everyday process. And so you don't get to ridiculously amazing without something we work on it every day. And John Maxwell says that you can't change anything unless you change something you do every day. Right? So with that being said.
Yes, it is time to wrap it up. These times go so quickly, so quickly. And to those of you who are new to joining us, we are here every Tuesday for Tune In Tuesday. The time varies, but it's always in the evening. But and we always send out a notice to let everyone know that we're here. But our dedication. We've been doing this for more than a year and a half now. Every week. We had about a month when we were tuning in on Thursdays, but that's okay. But we've been back to Tuesdays for a while, and we'll continue to do so, God willing, because this is a great opportunity for us to share with you and for you to share with us, and we benefit from each of your comments and your wonderful thoughts and your well wishes, and we can't thank you enough, and we are grateful to be here and do what we do.
Yes, 100%, and to get to share it with all of you. And so, we are looking, though, we are on a mission. We do want to change the world. We want people to wake up. We want people to live their potential, their purpose. So if you share this, and let's spread the word about being intentional and about living that way on a daily basis, right? And so again, Oh, and I just want to show this. Safa says it's by design, not accident.
That's right.
Growth doesn't happen well accidentally. So thank
Yeah,
you,
it's
Safa.
intentional. And
All
you can
right.
always tell people that, at least one of us will show up in our bathing suit. So maybe that's an attractor.
Listen, you know what? I know, but I got my paddleboarding in, so I was intentional.
Do your thing.
That's what it's about for me. I don't worry about how I look, as you can tell.
No, you look wonderful. That is not
I
an
just
issue.
want to be with you, Rhea,
That
and do
is
what we do.
that's right. That's right.
All
I
right.
love you, Laura. All
Love
right,
you.
you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week, and we look forward to seeing you again on next Tuesday.
Yes, make it ridiculously amazing.
That's right.
All
That's
right.
right.
Good night.
All right. Good night. Thank you.
Thank you.